I love Harold Fannin.
As soon as Shedeur Sanders started his start as Cleveland Browns quarterback, Harold Fannin's stats saw a major jump. He jumped up in route share, 5th amongst all tight ends, 6th on targets per route. He was 4th in target share, 1st in read target share, 5th in yards per route run, and 4th in yards per game. He became a top 5 tight end in the NFL as soon as Shedeur Sanders.
He walked into that building as the most criticized quarterback in the entire draft class. 50 picks, 50 teams that looked at him and said no. And somewhere in that building, a tight end nobody outside of Ohio had heard of was quietly waiting for his shot too. Nobody predicted what was about to happen next. Because when Shedeur Sanders finally got his opportunity under center for the Cleveland Browns, something clicked that even the coaching staff didn't fully see coming. A rookie quarterback and a rookie tight end, both overlooked, both doubted, found each other in the middle of a losing season and turned it into the one storyline nobody in the NFL could stop talking about. This is the story of Shedeur Sanders and Harold Fannin Jr. And it's the story of why, all of a sudden, an entire fan base is asking the front office one simple question. Whatever you do, don't break this up. Let's rewind for a second. Because to understand why this moment hits so hard, you have to understand what Shedeur was walking into. This wasn't a kid getting handed the keys to a franchise. This was a kid who had to sit, watch, wait, listen to grown men on television question his arm, his attitude, his family, his last name. Every single week, somebody had a new theory about why he fell so far on draft night. Was it the interviews? Was it the scouting reports? Was it something else entirely? Cleveland didn't seem to care about the noise. They just wanted to see what he'd do with a real opportunity. And when that opportunity finally came, it didn't come with a soft landing. It came with pressure. It came with a fan base that had been burned by quarterback disappointments for 2 decades straight. It came with analysts sitting behind desks in New York and Los Angeles, ready to pounce on the first bad throw. So when Shedeur stepped onto that field for the first time as a starter, the whole league was watching to see him fail.
With his connection to Mr. Harold Fannin, they are like peanut butter and jelly boy as Shedeur goes up to change some things in the line. I forgot it was snowing at this game. I feel like we kind of breezed past that. They was doing this in the snow. And this was, I know a lot of things, and this wasn't my favorite play of the game. My favorite play either has to be obviously the Harold Fannin touchdown or the Shedeur Sanders spinning into the end zone. That was crazy. But this was my favorite throw of the game easily. This right here, I don't know, people don't talk about this a lot.
He walked into that building as the most criticized quarterback in the entire draft class. 50 picks, 50 teams that looked at him and said no. And somewhere in that building, a tight end nobody outside of Ohio had heard of was quietly waiting for his shot too. Nobody predicted what was about to happen next. Because when Shedeur Sanders finally got his opportunity under center for the Cleveland Browns, something clicked that even the coaching staff didn't fully see coming. A rookie quarterback and a rookie tight end, both overlooked, both doubted, found each other in the middle of a losing season and turned it into the one storyline nobody in the NFL could stop talking about. This is the story of Shedeur Sanders and Harold Fannin Jr. And it's the story of why, all of a sudden, an entire fan base is asking the front office one simple question. Whatever you do, don't break this up. Let's rewind for a second. Because to understand why this moment hits so hard, you have to understand what Shedeur was walking into. This wasn't a kid getting handed the keys to a franchise. This was a kid who had to sit, watch, wait, listen to grown men on television question his arm, his attitude, his family, his last name. Every single week, somebody had a new theory about why he fell so far on draft night. Was it the interviews? Was it the scouting reports? Was it something else entirely? Cleveland didn't seem to care about the noise. They just wanted to see what he'd do with a real opportunity. And when that opportunity finally came, it didn't come with a soft landing. It came with pressure. It came with a fan base that had been burned by quarterback disappointments for 2 decades straight. It came with analysts sitting behind desks in New York and Los Angeles, ready to pounce on the first bad throw. So when Shedeur stepped onto that field for the first time as a starter, the whole league was watching to see him fail.
As he knows he's about to get hammered, bow, and throw, my goodness. My goodness. Can he put that thing any better? I mean, over the top of the top. Real nasty stuff, man. I love me some foods, but I don't know what else to tell you, dog. Can we bring football back, please? Just bring it back. I mean, just a frozen rope over the top of the defenders.
Because for weeks, the story around Shedeur had been almost entirely negative. Is he ready? Is he athletic enough? Is he accurate enough down the field? Every single mistake got magnified. Every incompletion became a headline. But after that Titans performance, something shifted in the tone. Analysts who had been openly skeptical started admitting, on camera, that maybe, just maybe, this kid had something real. Not a finished product, not a franchise savior overnight, but a spark. A connection with a young tight end that looked less like a coincidence and more like the start of something. That's when the conversation started to change inside the building too, because Tyvis Powell, who has spent years around this organization and understands the culture inside that locker room better than almost anyone in the media, came out and said something that stuck with people. He talked about how Shedeur fits into the long-term identity of this franchise, not just as a game manager trying to survive, but as a piece the Browns can actually build around. And when a voice like that starts publicly backing a young quarterback's fit within the organization, that's not just noise, that's a signal. Because here's what people forget when they talk about doubt and pressure. Every single young quarterback who has ever mattered in this league had a version of this moment. A game, a stretch, a connection with a teammate that made the whole city stop and pay attention for the first time. For Shedeur, that moment has a name attached to it, Harold Fannin Jr. And once fans started digging into the numbers, they realized this wasn't just a one-game fluke. During that stretch with Sanders under center, Fannin was commanding one of the highest target shares among all tight ends in the entire league. His yards per catch jumped, his role in the offense grew from complementary piece to legitimate focal point. This is a tight end who is tying up double coverage, breaking tackles at a rate that had analysts pulling old game tape just to double-check the numbers were real, and doing it as a rookie, with a rookie quarterback, in an offense that was still figuring itself out on a week-to-week basis. There's a reason people started calling this connection generational potential, rather than just a good stretch of football.
Breaking tackles and running nasty routes. Let's get to it. All right, here we go. Harold Fannin against the Raiders, making people miss, putting stiff arms, ping-ponging off of people, pal. Call him the ping-ponger. I mean, you got people on the ground right now, dog. Oh, well, I went too far. People on the ground. Max Crosby is lunging at him. He can't do nothing about it. He got Max Crosby upset, man. That's a crazy thing, man. Another tight end screen, another time.
Now, here's where it gets emotional. Because football, at the end of the day, isn't just about stats and target shares. It's about people. It's about a young man who grew up with the weight of a famous last name on his shoulders, who had to answer questions about nepotism and readiness before he ever took an NFL snap, finally getting the chance to just play football and let his game speak for him. And it's about a tight end who wasn't a first-round pick, who wasn't supposed to be this good, this fast, finding a quarterback who trusted him in the biggest moments. You can see it on the sideline. You can see it in the post-game handshakes. There's a bond there that goes beyond scheme. And that's exactly why the fan base has latched onto this so hard. Because in a league where front offices are constantly shuffling rosters, breaking up promising duos before they ever get the chance to fully develop, Browns fans are terrified of losing this connection before it reaches its ceiling. They've seen this story before. A young quarterback finds his guy. The front office moves on from that player a year or two later for cap reasons or scheme fit, and the magic just disappears. So now you're seeing it everywhere. Social media threads breaking down every route combination. Analysts building entire segments around whether the front office understands what they actually have here. Fans pleading with the organization publicly. Keep them together. Build around this. Don't let this be another wasted opportunity in a franchise that has had far too many of those over the years. If you're new here and you're just discovering the story behind this connection, do yourself a favor and hit that subscribe button, because this is a storyline that's only just getting started, and you're going to want to be here for every twist along the way. Because here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud yet. This is still early. This is still a small sample size in the grand scheme of an NFL career. Shedeur still has to prove he can handle a full 16, 17-game season as a starter. He still has to prove he can carry an offense when his top target is being taken away by opposing defensive coordinators who are now scheming specifically to stop Harold Fannin. That's the next chapter of this story, and it's not going to be easy.
And then with contested catches, he was tied leading the team at number 7, and that's tied 7th amongst all receivers. Now, Fannin also doubled the efficiency of the next closest rookie tight end, Colston Loveland. We all love Colston Loveland. We love Tyler Warren, right? I think they got this. They got this mixed up. I'm sorry. I think we got some of these statistics mixed up. I need to double check my checking. Colston Loveland.
Because once the league catches on to something this good, they adjust. Defenses will start rolling extra coverage toward Fannin. They'll try to force Shedeur to beat them with other targets. That's when we'll really find out what this offense is capable of. That's when we'll find out if this connection was lightning in a bottle or the foundation of something built to last for the next decade. But if the flashes we've already seen are any indication, there's real reason for hope in Cleveland, a city that has not had much reason for quarterback optimism in longer than most fans care to admit. Picture this: a young man who was told by nearly every team in the league that he wasn't good enough to be picked early, a tight end who was viewed as a solid rotational piece at best coming out of college. Both of them landing in the same building at the same time and finding each other in the middle of a rebuild that nobody outside that locker room believed in. That's not a coincidence. That's a story, and it's still being written. Somewhere in that Cleveland facility right now, there's game film being broken down, routes being drawn up, and a coaching staff trying to figure out how to keep building around a connection that fans across the entire league are suddenly paying attention to. The pressure isn't going away. The critics aren't going to disappear just because of one great outing in the snow. If anything, the expectations just got higher. But that's exactly what makes this story worth following. Not because everything is perfect, not because Shedeur has silenced every doubter forever, but because for the first time in a long time, Browns fans have something real to hold on to. A young quarterback and a young tight end who found chemistry in the middle of chaos, and a fan base that is now begging the organization to protect it. Whatever happens next, whatever adjustments defenses make, whatever roster decisions come this offseason, one thing is already clear. Shedeur Sanders and Harold Fannin Jr. gave this city something to believe in again. And in Cleveland, that means more than any stat line ever could.